I swear to God that says troglodyte in that one part.
What is up, everyone?
And everybody look and see what time it is. Look.
I know, right?
We are right on time.
Like I said, don't get used to it. So.
Yeah, don't let it go to your heads.
Yeah. Oh man,
we will definitely not make a habit out of that. I guarantee you.
Well, I mean, I wish we could, but with the way things are, it's kind of hard to.
Waste time to play.
All the time. I always forget to share this with Dana. I'm gonna share it with him real quick. So,
right.
Or the Metal Attached group. So,
yeah.
I know they don't like my everyday thing, but I like it when they get guests on. Sorry. So, all right, guys. If you've been following us all week, we've been pushing advertisements for a guest all week, and we do have Stu in the studio here from Death Dealer. We'll bring him in here.
Yes. As he says, coming to us from the future, all the way in Australia.
What's going on, Stu?
Hey guys.
So appreciate you taking your time to talk with us for a little bit. So
looks like he's already got a weapon holstered.
We got a weapon holstered. Oh man, we're gonna get some live stuff. Awesome, man.
Always, man. Always got something in the lap.
We'll take it.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Hell no. So,
yep.
Good stuff.
Special night, special time, and a special guest.
I don't want to do this quite yet.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking some time out of your Saturday. It's it's the middle of the evening on Friday here in the United States. We juggle a few things and we work stuff out, and here we are. So
love it.
Yep.
So I guess like one thing that we were curious about when we talked to was it who was it that we talked to get this set up?
Dustin. Yeah, we talked.
Dustin, man.
We were talking to Dustin, and I was getting everything.
I was like, man, we talked to so many PR guys. It's hard to keep them straight, man. Which is great. I like to have that problem, but
yes.
But I was kind of curious about because when we look at things up, it's saying you guys are based out of California. So are you guys kind of scattered around, or are you just kind of over there and then everybody else is over here? Or?
Yeah, the funniest thing is, so I started this band with the singer Sean, who's in California, and it's a global band, like it's really Australian metal, because like I write the lion's share of the material, so what you're hearing is written by an Australian, but I think Sean, because Sean says San Diego is the center of the world, right? So, I think it's a California-based band on the blurb, but we got members in New York and all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Oh wow, okay. So
California does think the world revolves around them. So,
but he's right. It's one of the most beautiful places I've been when I've been over to San Diego or even parts of LA. I love it. So.
Yeah, the only part of California I've ever been to is just LAX on a layover. So that's the only part of California I've ever been to. But so it was funny because we were looking, doing the album review for Reign of Steel and everything, and looked it up, and it said it's on the Encyclopedia Metallum, where we get a lot of our information from. They are a very, very well put together website. Mm-hmm. Talking about based out of Encinitas. It's like, if we get an interview set up, there'll only be a couple hours time difference between the two of us. We start talking with Dustin, and he's like, Stu will go ahead and do it, but we'll probably have to do it on a different day than Saturday. And I was like, I was starting to do the math. I was like, why? We'd usually do it at 10. It'd be 8 out there. And he's like, no, he's in Australia. I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah.
I was like, okay. I was like, all right. And the funny thing is I did just as a goof one day. I was like, how far is Encinitas from New South Wales? Yeah, it's like 7,520 miles difference.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
It's a long swim.
It's a 15-hour flight. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long way. So
it's a long swim for sure.
Yeah, it's a hell of a long swim. So before we get into it, obviously when we set the whole thing up, this was something that we obviously never even thought we were going to have to talk about it. I guarantee you, I know you didn't. So let's get this out of the way now. So let's kind of address the massive elephant in the room. If anybody's kind of kept up with the news in the scene over the last few days, but it was announced that Ross the Boss has been diagnosed with ALS, and if you guys also don't know that Ross the Boss, yes, the Ross the Boss from Manowar and his solo project is actually one of the two guitarists along with Stu in this band. So obviously one hell of a hit you guys took this week. So I bet no one saw that coming. I mean, unless, like I say, you probably deal with Ross on the regular, probably not on the daily, since he's not in Australia with you. But before the diagnosis, I mean, was there any idea that anything like this was happening with Ross?
Yeah, well, this is the first time I've spoken to anyone about it.
Well, I mean,
Very much.
we don't want to pry, so
No, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about it. And for your viewers, I apologize if this takes a bit of a sad turn. This is crushingly hard for me, for us. I'll answer your question in just a second, but and Ross is still with us. He's still alive, very well alive. I spoke to him yesterday.
right.
So, this is not my normal self. I'm usually a little bit more happy. It's been really rough for everybody. It's been rough for us caring about Ross's family. It's been crushing for me because it's been and has been a dream working with Ross. It's been my personal dream to work with Ross, and that's how we ended up working with him in the first place. But look, Ross reported in December. He reported some issues with his hands and playing. I was on tour with Ross with my Australian band in April last year. We did an Australian tour with his band, and we played together on stage, which we do. We do Hail and Kill together, and he reported in December some problems, and it just really aggressively took over to this just horrific diagnosis for him. All of our hopes and dreams are gone. From a band perspective, that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is his health, his family, his future life. So we're processing all that, and I've got to tell you, man, there's been a lot of tears. It just a lot of pain and disbelief. But after we get, I get to go through my own pity party, and my own bullshit. It's just so wrong that someone has to have this taken away from them. But knowing Ross now for 15 years, you'll never find a more genuine guy, a sweeter human being, and it just sucks. And so, there's just no good story. There's no good news. There's no at this stage. I was talking to him the other day, and it's just shit. So, and what's really, really shit, and I know he feels this way, is, we've just released this album. It's like every band says it is definitely the best thing we've ever done. We're all really proud of it. We're all really high on it. It's taken 5 years to release the damn fucking thing. We went through 2 years of label hell, like just all kinds of shit to get it released at the right time. And, I know he's devastated, and, clearly it's the last Death Dealer album. There's no way we're going to be replacing him. I certainly won't, no, Sean won't. So, man, absolute gut punch. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say apart from just gutted, dude. And we're still processing it to have it so final. And You know, but I'm talking to him every second day. I promised him I'd give him a call and just talk shit to him. And so that's it. It's crap, to be
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Well, we'll say this is that's not the first question that we had planned on asking you
No,
guys.
Yeah.
But
absolutely
you know,
not.
I mean, like I said, when we prepared for this, since we knew about, we were kind of, you know, we were talking about this last week. I'm like, dude, I mean, I'm kind of like I'm just kind of like put back about how to handle the interview now because
Yeah.
you know it kind of like hits us too because I mean me and Chris both are, you know, we're Manowar fans and you know, and I actually reviewed Ross the Boss's last album on the show, so I mean
Yeah.
it's you know
Look, guys, if I can help at all, I really think, you know, we've talked about it, and I know Ross. Ross is, you know, I can hear him yelling in my ear at the moment. He's just get on with it, Stu. Get on with it, Stu.
yeah.
You know, and like I said, you know, he's still with us, and at this stage, you know, as they're filming, so um, you know, let's talk Rain of Steel and let's talk Death Dealer and probably
Yeah.
reasons. You know, there are a lot of people out there that don't know Death Dealer. I think, you know, there's a reason why we want to turn them onto it and why
Right.
there's, you know, I still believe it's the best thing we ever did. And Ross is completely on fire on the album. It's like, Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
I
You
mean,
know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. Well, I mean, the good thing about Death Dealer is that we do have 4 albums worth of material. So I mean, that's definitely, if you want to look at it one way, that's definitely better than no material from Death Dealer because obviously in preparation for the interview, I won't speak for Jason, but I can make an assumption because I know how we usually handle this when we have a guest come on, especially on the heels of a brand new album. We try to make sure that we listen to as much of the catalog as we can. So I am guessing that Jason did the same thing as I did and went back to War Master and, you know, worked his way forward. So at least that's going to be my guess because, like I say, it's usually how we handle it. So to say, but going back to War Master and working our way forward to Reign of Steel, to say that Ross was on fire on this album is a little bit of an understatement. I mean, yeah, I don't think you could have put it any better. I mean, between you and Ross, I mean, the guitar work is well, let's just say it because of who he is. It's legendary. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, it is too bad that that it did take so long to get the album out because that was actually one of the things I was going to ask about. You know, because earlier on in the band's career, it was the output was a little bit more steady, and of course, you know, pretty much every band that we've talked to, of course, got waylaid to a certain extent by the pandemic, but we're kind of to the point now where we're past it enough to where I was maybe kind of under the assumption that maybe you guys had gotten this album out kind of apart from that, but you know, you had already basically had talked about that. Well, I mean, tell us about a little bit more about the label Hell, because you guys are with Massacre Records now. So who were the record labels who were being the fly in the ointment to get the album out sooner than that?
yeah. So let me clarify. So we did, the label Hell was the negotiation with Massacre to get the right deal. So everyone we've dealt with, it's been great. You know, and to give everybody a snapshot. So when we released War Master, you know, we went and did a European tour, and then we released the next album, and then we did another European tour, and then we had the third album, Conquered Lands, and that's when, this is prior to the COVID garbage, and Conquered Lands came out, and we were about to go tour, and then Ross got real busy, and then Sean got real busy with the Three Tremors band he had happening. Then I got busy with Night Legion. And we had some delays. We had a few delays here and there, and we missed out on a couple of European festivals. And it was like a year after that, we started writing the Reign of Steel album, and then COVID hit, which destroyed everybody, and no one wants to talk about that anymore because it was just a bad phase for everybody. And then we had the album done. I think over the 2 years that COVID was killing everything in the industry, and the decision was, well, what do we do? Because I put my foot down. I said, I'm not releasing this unless we're going to go and do a tour. Like, I'm not putting this album out. I've already got recording projects with Empires of Eden. I've done 5 albums with that. I got my studio. I can play at home, but Death Dealer was a live band.
Right.
And so I said, and I'm also not going to release it unless it's in the hands of the right person, the right label with the right promotion. Here we are talking to you guys. That's going to handle it properly. And so we went to Massacre, I think around 3 years ago now, and we had I guess a fight with him to say, look, this has to be handled right. This, the money's got to be right, the situation's got to be right, the tour support's got to be right, and we finally got there after about 18 months, and a couple of the guys were like, man, let's get this thing out. Let's go with another label. And I'm like, well, this is what I want for the band. This is how it's going to play out. If it's going to be delayed, I don't give a shit if it's delayed. I'd rather it be handled right than disappear off into, unknown obscurity. And let's face it, Death Dealer is not an A-list band, right? We're not Maiden. We're not Priest. We're not, one of these bigger bands. So we have to make sure that it's positioned the right way. Anyway, we did that. We signed the deal. We delayed it to a point, and then Massacre went under and then came back again. So they got bought out. They were dropping bands left, right, and center. They just paid for us, which was, a chunk of change. And then I just said, look, wait till you resurface. And they finally got re-bought out by a conglomerate with money. And, I want people to know that if you don't sign these things the right way, they get released. How many releases a month do you guys get?
Oh my God, dude. I'd hate to have to try to count them. I mean, honestly.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
it's not handled right.
I mean, just the list that we go through every week is usually 40 to 50 albums that we.
Yeah, and that.
I can show you. They're mostly 2-page sheets that I print out to go through, see what the new releases are. So,
and that's not counting, like we was telling you earlier from Dustin and all the other PR people that drop stuff in our inbox all the time. Yeah.
And
so probably,
luckily we're listening to stuff months in advance because of that, which I love. Don't get me wrong, but it's hard to keep a tight lip sometimes. It's like, oh, that's so good, I want to talk about it.
Yeah, that's actually what happened with your guys' album. I can't remember exactly when Dustin sent it to us, but it was early, so we got a chance to check it out ahead of time. And when did I review it? Hang on a second, I've got my notes here. I reviewed it on the 24th, so it was the week that it came out. But I did listen to it early, but I didn't review it until it came out because I don't like to do that. I don't like to give a review on something that's not out yet, because then people can't go and kind of, take both of our reviews rather, and then immediately go check it out. Because again, for the same reason, what you're talking about, if we get something in our inbox, a month, 2 months ahead of time, hell, there's stuff in our inbox now that doesn't release until June. So if we were to listen to it and immediately do a review on it, there's chances are the people, who check us out are going to fucking forget about it. And that's the last thing we want. So I did listen to it ahead of time. I was like, I was like, that's badass. I like the hell out of that. And then the weekend that it came out, it came out on the 23rd. I told Jason, I was like, I'm going to review this week. And then we did that. So here we are. So, but same thing, same reason that we do what we do. And kind of, we do have to be cognizant of timing also, because we don't want anything to fall through the cracks either, because that's the niche that we've decided to put ourselves into. Is you're talking about, you don't want Death Dealer to get lost in the shuffle, but we want to elevate bands like you guys. So if an album is out, we want to make sure that we hit the timing just right. That's why, of course, let's see, the 3 weekends ago. So, I mean, the album is still new. It's still fresh. So, and on the heels of my review a couple weeks ago. So now we got you on the show. So we try to coordinate this thing the best we can for a couple of guys who are, just trying to throw together a podcast here. So I think we do okay. But
you guys are great. I think people, your viewers, and listeners, if they understand this business machine has to be well negotiated. Otherwise, we could end up being album 47 on that 50 list that ends up disappearing. And so that's the practical truth around what's delayed the release. But I'm glad it's been released at the right time. I'm just shattered that Ross is going through this. That's going to impact our future. But that aside, that's the reason for the delay. And I'm glad it's in the right hands, and I'm glad I'm talking to people like you.
Well, let me ask you this though. Talking about the album and the timing of everything that's happened with Ross, of course. If you had to envision your perfect ending, obviously not the things with Ross, of course, but talking about going out on a high note musically, if you had to, I mean, because you said that this is going to be it for the band, and let me just say, I am going to speak for Jason on this one. We both hate to hear that this is going to happen to you guys. Obviously, like you say, there's bigger things than the music, but the band is still a part of this, and of course, we were going to get to this at some point. It's not like you're not going to be busy, Stu. It's not like you're not going to be busy, but as far as musically and everything else, I mean, if you had to put an exclamation mark on the band's career musically, do you think you could ask for a better musical send-off for the band than this?
Definitely not. No. So Reign of Steel, I can tell you, and more than happy to go into detail on it. This is the best thing we could do. We'd written 24 songs. We've actually written and recorded most of the next Death Dealer album, which will never be released. We wrote, yeah, dude, I know, it's killing me too. We wrote 24, 25 songs, and then with this album, after it was all finished and mixed and done, we had all the songs, and I went to Sean, I went, right, let's spend 6 months just picking the absolute cream of the crop. And it's like picking your kids, man. You know what I mean? And so we did. That's why I'm so confident. 10 tracks, not 14. Yes, the 14 would have been great, but I even wanted to push for an 8-track album because they're my favorites. The old Sabbath and Priest. 4 tracks aside. But we selected 10 of the most killer songs with no boring bits and anything at all that was like, I don't know. And we fought pretty hard with each other. So to answer your question, yeah, I think this is as good as we can do. I'm super happy with everything, like production, because I had nothing to do with it on this album, so I'm super happy with it. Unlike the other albums, which is more a necessity, I think everything came together, and I think it's the perfect Death Dealer album. So if no one's heard Death Dealer, you can hear it today on all the streaming platforms, for free. Yep. And there's some great, cool splatter vinyls and cool stuff out there you can pick up as well. But I'm real proud of it. My heart's breaking as well. At the same time, I'm listening to Ross's playing on it, and it's very hard because I'm a hardcore Manowar fan. So for me, it's this kind of bittersweet situation that we're in. So I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. So the songs that didn't make it, um, completed songs, mixed, mastered, ready to go, everything, and
Yeah, so we've got nine songs finished. Two of them were fully mixed and mastered. You can see there's some great stuff. We never got around to Ross's leads going on it, which is one of my life regrets at the moment. But even still, I'd only want to be releasing something if he was
part of it. Yeah, absolutely.
interested in part of it and capable.
Yeah.
I'm not a. I detest people releasing things without those present. If you catch my drift.
Oh
Well,
no,
I
absolutely.
think, I think from a fan perspective, that kind of comes off as a money grab to the fan. You know,
Yeah.
you know, most of the time you hear that a lot when people just say, "Oh, well,
Yeah.
they went on without him; they're just trying to get money." You know, which you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
90% of the time though, I'm sitting back going, "That guy's already had money." Like, so most
Like
of the
to be
time,
fair, who doesn't want to hear lost Randy Rhodes takes, or who doesn't want to hear
oh,
Dimebag
for
takes?
sure,
But you know,
Sure.
if you're going to do it, put them out for free, put them out on YouTube or something
yeah.
like that. Let everybody enjoy them, but don't package them up as a cash grab.
Yeah. No, that's
But
100% true.
yeah, so
Yeah.
We talking about the guitar, you know, work tandem wise. I mean, I mean, I don't know how Chris would describe it as far as, you know, but I kind of got like, you know, being that it's similar Halloween, you know, you know, maybe even some priest, you know, early priest with KK and
Yeah.
Kate and Glenn, you know. So I mean, I definitely get some vibes like that off you guys. So I'll say, man, even going back to listen to the previous two albums before this one, I was just like, man, blown away by some of the riffs and stuff. And I'm like, oh shit, you know, it's like,
Well, it's kind of a funny situation with this band because are they are you guys technically a little newer on the scene? Maybe as Death Dealer, sure. But if you do a little bit of research, I mean, all five of you guys, I mean,
mm-hmm.
Ross's resume speaks for itself, but so should yours, and so should everybody else's in the band because I mean, you've got, I mean, I mean, you have one, two, three, four, five, six, seven projects going on right now. A couple that, from the past, everything that Ross has done, everything that Sean is doing. And then, Steve's got quite the resume. And of course he was with Ross in his,
Mm-hmm.
solo project, and he was with Witherfall at some point too, for Christ's sake. And then the amount I have to laugh because if you pull up the list of bands that Mike is a part of now, and has been a part of. I mean, you don't with most of the bands that we deal with this early in their careers, because there's certain bands that there's a band that we've talked to who came on the show on the heels of one single, and that was it. That's as far as they had gotten at the time.
Yeah.
And then we've also talked to Brainstorm, who's had 14 albums out at this point. We got to talk to Andy Frank, which was also kind of another kind of surreal thing that we got to do, is talk to Andy. So I mean,
we talked to Nige from Onslaught too.
talked
You
to
know, they got
Nigel Onslaught.
we got
So I mean, so
bukus of albums too.
yeah,
So
so I mean, so as far as we're concerned, Stu, to pump your tires a little bit, you're kind of up there in that echelon with
yeah,
those guys. So it's a little bit different situation for us because, like Jason was talking about, some of the sounds that he heard. But the funny thing is you guys have influence that is brought into your music, but also with the amount of music that you put out, I guarantee you that you've been influences for God only knows
oh yeah,
how many artists out there already. So it's kind of a weird situation because, it's, I mean, listening to all four of the albums and the one EP, even though it was weird, the EP was one song, but that's fine, still counts. It still counts as far as I'm concerned. But
No,
listen,
the EP had 4 songs on it.
well, what was I listening to then? Because I thought I was listening to. Anyway, I'll have to double check that. Maybe I'm getting something confused with something else. But anyway, I digress. But listening to the way all of the songs were put together, yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm trying to at the same time. I'm like, don't compare everything to Manowar. Don't compare everything to Manowar. Don't compare everything to Manowar. But and the funny thing is with as amazing as Ross's contributions are to the band from beginning to now, I still think he put a different stamp on it.
Mhm.
I still think he put a different stamp on it to where it was like, yeah, he was in Manowar. That's not this. This is something completely different. Now,
Yeah.
Listening to everything, does Sean kind of give me some Iced Earth vocal vibes sometimes? Sure. I can't remember what song it was on the new album. Give me 1 second. There was a song on the new album. It might have been Bloodbath, where I swear to God, there was like one part of the song where he sounded like Bobby Ellsworth from Overkill. I'm like, how is he
Yeah.
doing this right now?
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking insane how he's doing that. Because I mean, he sounds like, of course, he's in the Three Tremors with Ripper, so I mean, he can still belt it out like Ripper does, and which before I go too far and before I forget, have you guys played Dragon of Algarath live at all?
No.
Because god damn it, that 30-second scream that I timed it. Because after I heard it the first time, I was like, that was a 30-second scream from the time he starts it to the time it ends. And that little bit that he actually adds to the end where he goes even higher right before the end, I was like, there's no way in hell he does that live every night. So I wanted to ask that because I was like, Jesus Christ. I mean, the wind to be able to do it.
Yeah.
And I didn't believe it at first that he was actually pulling that off until he hit that last little bit at the end. I was like, holy shit, that is impressive.
I can swear to you that is a single take. You can hear the imperfections in it. You can hear it. There's this killer scream, that's happening, and then you can hear the slight breath dip, and where he goes up at the end. I remember him sending me that when we were doing the tracks for the album, and I had a solo over that part.
Yeah.
I remember him sending it to me. He goes, I think this is the longest continuous scream recorded in history. And I went, what? And he sent me the file. And Sean doesn't edit. Sean can't edit. I do all the editing of Sean's vocals. So I can promise you, he doesn't even know how to chop things up. And he just sends me all these tracks. So I'm the schmuck that's got to do it. And when I heard that, I went, dude, I'm not putting a lead over that. We're just going to leave the scream. And it just worked out so great in the song, and it shows what a great vocalist Sean is. And but back to your point, let's sort of set the scene again for people that don't know Death Dealer. So I formed this band with Sean through a great friendship from the Empires of Eden project. It was just the two of us. And I was getting drunk with him in surprise, in San Diego. And I said, look, let's do a band. I've got all these songs. And he said, okay, well, in a dream, who would you want to be in a band with? And I went, well, if we're dreaming, this is 5 or 6 vodkas in. I said, it's either KK Dowling, right, or it's Ross the Boss. And he looked at me funny, and he goes, Ross? And I went, yeah. And he goes, man, I know Ross. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Don't play with me, man. He's like, no, I know him. So he literally pulls out the phone and he rings Ross and he puts him on speaker. He's like, because they talk politics and shit back in the day,
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, I've got this guy from Australia here. We want to do this, really aggressive power metal band. Are you interested? He said, yeah, send me some songs, and I'm trembling. I'm like freaking out. Like, you have no idea what this night was like for me. I'm sure you do. Anyway, one thing led to another. He heard the material and I was still in San Diego at the time because I've always got a bunch of demos online. And he came back. He's like, "Man, I'm in," and that was the start of it. And so the intent for everyone to know, the intent of Death Dealer was to make real heavy metal, not happy metal, not keyboard metal, not synthesized commercial stuff. Fuck that. The whole point of this band was to have two guitars, blasting drums, high screaming guitars, and high screaming vocals. Sorry, and playing the most vicious power metal we could make. And my history with Manowar in my blood, like those first albums with Ross, especially Hail to England.
Mm-hmm.
Just every single time we went to write music for this band, it was, is it worthy of that legacy? Is it worthy of that? That's the litmus test of every single song for Death Dealer. Is it something that I would be proud to go, that isn't, it's not Manowar, it's not supposed to be.
Right.
But from a pure spirit of and I'm being a little bit straight here. I know people might take the piss out of me, but the truest of steel, I just love early Manowar. It's not funny to me. I don't find humor in it. I feel it deep in my bones. So that's the thing that I wanted to bring forward with Death Dealer. And Ross was all about it. When I talked to him, I said, this is what I want. I don't want anything else apart from what this says. And so that's where all of this came from. That's the end story from start to finish about what Death Dealer is. So I hope that helps.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I like, and like I say, you listen to you and Ross play guitar, is who's playing the guitar, and yet it sounds completely fresh and complete. It's got a mind of its own, where it's not like riding the coattails of Manowar. But one thing that I do love, that I've always loved, what that Manowar has done, and you guys have done it, I'm pretty sure, on every single album. You guys have, and Jason can attest to this. I've always talked about how much I love songs that are an ode to heavy metal. Mm-hmm. I fucking love that, and I love that Manowar they always had songs talking about how great heavy metal is and all that. And I've always loved that about Manowar, and that's another thing that that's one thing that got brought from Manowar to this that I absolutely love, because one of my favorite songs off the earlier albums is the anthem. I fucking love that song. Of course, you got I've listened to everything. So like I say, you've got, let's see, Running with the Wolves. You got that one, off of Conquered Lands. What am I thinking? The anthem was off of Hallowed Ground, and
you got songs like Hammer Down off the first album.
Yeah, yep, that one. Hammer Down off of War Master. So yeah, I mean, just the odes to. So just like I say, just paying tribute to the genre. I love that Manowar has of course, a lot of early metal bands did that, but Manowar did it on the regular, and that's one of the things that I loved about Manowar. That and that and their visual performances and everything else. It's just so damn primal and pure, like you're talking about. So I mean, that's what I always loved about them.
Well, Ross was the ingredient. Sorry, guys, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and you just brought that forward. That's the one thing I like, is you brought that forward without it like taking away from this band's legacy. That's what I think is the great thing about it, because you brought an element from another band without it overtaking the band, and able to have your own sound, just making your own mark with the same subject matter, basically. Because I mean, there's a lot of bands who sing about how awesome heavy metal is, and we've made 2 playlists over the years of just songs talking about that, and I guarantee you we've only scratched the surface of the amount of songs about it. Hell, your songs included. So I mean, you can only really say so much about it, but at the same time, the way that the way I can't remember the exact lyric, but if if you'll have to correct me because I can't remember the exact lyric, but if it's not for you, then you need not apply or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Yeah, so
Running with the Wolves. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
also on the anthem, because I mean Trivium also has a song called called the anthem. Well, actually, so does Ice, so does Ice Earth. Now I think about it, so it's not a unique title, but thinking about it's completely they're completely different songs, but that's one thing that I like about it is you can still sing about this one narrow focused thing, and it all sounds completely different, from Manowar to Death Dealer to whoever, Sabaton, Judas Priest, whoever. Pick a band that's done an ode to heavy metal, and they're all different. And the funny thing is, they don't always have to be completely up tempo. That's one of the things also that I liked about you guys is you talking about real, honest to God, balls to the wall, no pun intended, heavy metal. Is that you guys have 4 albums? I can only think of 2 ballads really that you guys did. You know,
Yeah.
so really didn't feel. Of course, at the same time, the subject matter, because you had 22 Gone Today, and I think all 3 of course what the song's about, Stu, but I think Jason and I both know what that's all about. 2022 former military service people commit suicide every day. So that's one hell of a topic to sing about. And which reminds me, is that just something that you guys wrote about for awareness's sake, or was anybody directly affected by that? Or
Yeah, I think, well, we're all very patriotic. I'm certainly a patriotic Australian, and I know Sean and Ross and the boys patriotic Americans. So we stand behind our servicemen and women. And, that's more of, I guess it's an awareness song. So we didn't have a direct connection to answer your question, but
okay,
that's one of Sean's pet pet topics was to write about that. And we've had some ex-servicemen reach out to us actually saying that really affected them, that song, which is pretty amazing.
yeah,
Yeah, it's something in our society that we need to acknowledge, and so
right.
that was a bit of a calling to make that song happen.
Yeah, it's like I say, it's a topic that's obviously sensitive to talk about for obvious reasons. Suicide is no laughing matter. But my wife is a former active duty Marine, and she I haven't let her listen to that song yet. I'm probably going to at some point, but I'm always kind of careful with how those kind of songs
Right.
to kind of approach her with that. But of course, I don't. I'm not 100. I don't think, because she was a former Marine, former active duty Marine. So was her. She's got 2 brothers that were too. They're all still with us. So that's a good thing. And I've got some military members in my family. I got a cousin in the Air Force, and then I did lose a great uncle in World War II, but obviously that was before my time. But but he was KIA. He was shot down. Shot down. He had some sort of accident. He was a fighter pilot in World War II. I'll have to ask my grandfather. But still, the toll that it takes after everybody comes home. I mean, that's something, like you say, that I don't think really gets talked about that much. So I think that was really great
Thank
for
you.
you guys
Thank you.
to sing about that, and the way you did it in ballad form. I think people I think tend in heavy metal, especially nowadays. Jason and I have talked about this before. Back in the 80s and stuff like that, it was kind of expected to have one, but I think the quote unquote ballad gets kind of glossed over nowadays, because obviously that subject matter, it's not a love story by any stretch, but still slowing the tempo down really hammers home the power, no, again, no pun intended, of the topic and how it needs to be paid attention to. So I think making that a ballad was really a great choice.
Yeah, I think some songs deserve the the respect given to them. You know, a topic like that probably wouldn't be well served at a high tempo aggressive thing. You know, it's a
Right.
reflective moment, much like we're talking ballads, like Manowar had Defender,
Oh
you
yeah.
know, and then all, you know, Dark Avenger and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's not really ballad, but slower tempo stuff. So
Right.
um, we just, I must admit, to there isn't much of a calculated approach in the past to how we write songs. It's just what's emotive and what's coming out. And like I said, at any given time, I've got 30 or 40 demos online that Sean can sift through. Oh, that makes me feel this, or that makes me feel that, or and then I'm, you know, in the past have been writing with Ross as well. So there's this wealth of stuff that you can pull from. Some of it's ballads. You know, I'm a huge Dokken fan. I
Mm-hmm.
love 80s hair metal. You know, look at
Sure.
this thing. So it's, you know, even though Death Dealer is very much this kind of thing, it's just the influences of what we want to do, and as long as it comes from the heart and we mean it, then I think it can cross.
Well, what I like about you guys as a band as a whole, I'm talking like your entire career, is you take the time to write a song about a topic that is a real world issue that doesn't get addressed enough. But then again, what you do on top of that is you sing about, showing up in the mosh pit where the bodies are piled. And then, you got a song about just blasting down the highway. You got a song about the dragon of Algorath. And then, I mean, you'll sing about something that is in front of your face, whether you want to admit it or not. And then, you just go with the classics, loud, fast music, fucking powerful automobiles. And, so, I mean, that's what it runs the gamut from serious to not comical, but fun.
Yeah, dude.
I
Like,
mean,
look, we're not a political band, right? So
yeah, well, I mean,
we love
you're,
fantasy and comics and horror. That's how the name Death Dealer came about for me. Was watching the Underworld movies. You know those films with
oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
lichens, and
Oh, yeah.
as soon as I saw the main protagonist standing with a gun in her hand, and she mentioned the word Death Dealer, I went, "Oh wow!" It's like I quickly hit Google. I'm like, Death Dealer band, and the only thing I could find was some obscure reference to a Canadian band that were originally called Death Dealer, and then they changed their name to Death Dealer for 6 months, and then went back to Death Dealer, which made no sense to me. I'm sure they're nice people, but
Yeah.
and I called Sean, and I'm like, dude, I got a name for this fucking band. You won't believe it. And we found that it wasn't really being used, and so we jumped on it. So
Yeah.
all of this has come from watching fantasy films and horror movies, and you know,
Nice. Well, it also doesn't hurt that Kate Beckinsale said it too, so it doesn't really hurt. But
Yeah, nothing ever hurts, watching her. So
yeah, so
unless too
but
much
yeah,
blood builds up in certain areas, then
but but again, it just goes to show that you never know where inspiration is going to come from.
right. You
You have
don't. I
no
mean,
idea where you never know where the lightning bolt is gonna strike. So
I'll give you an example. I was on holiday in Scotland, and my wife is from Scotland, and we went to a battlefield, a battlefield of a battle called Bannockburn,
oh yeah,
which
yeah, yeah, yeah.
which happened many years ago. And you explain this to me. I'm standing on this battlefield, and I'm hearing a song, and it was very moving. And I'm like, wow, I've got the whole thing. Anyway, so I went back to the car, made some whistles and things into my iPhone, and that song ended up becoming a song called Maiden of Shadows that Ross recorded on his Ross the Boss album, and it was originally called King of Scots. And so when you're talking about influence, I think you've got to be open to it as a writer. It can come from anywhere, but just don't ignore it. You've got to tap into it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hell,
so
I think.
Wait a minute. You're from Australia and your wife is from Scotland? That's right.
Correct.
Oh my God, dude! Like, if you guys ever did videos and just talk normal day stuff, y'all would probably make a killing just off of clicks from that. I'm like, man, I'd love to hear those accents talking to each other. That'd be awesome.
The only time her accent comes out is when she gets angry.
Oh, well, maybe we don't want to hear hers.
Yeah, we probably.
So. That's pretty awesome, though. I think I've had we've had one other guest that was English and something or another, and I was like, oh man, that would be an awesome conversation to hear. So, just accents are just amazing. I guess because I have a thick Southern one, so I guess it's just kind of one of the things that you just have to run with. And that's why I did the whole moniker, the Cornbread Metalhead moniker, was because of my accent being right. Most everybody tells to you, "Oh, you must listen to country." No, I don't listen to damn country. That's why I always hate like that, because we're stuck. We're a little bit south of Nashville, so we're stuck in an area where country music's probably prominent, but it's not everything. It used to be like everybody said, "Oh, it's the country music," but now it's kind of like Music City. There's so much music in general. I mean, a lot of hard rock metal bands, moved here. So
I mean, hell, Wolf Hoffman lives in Nashville right now.
Yeah, Martin Montanick and
hell, Cheney Crab, she lives in Nashville. Yeah. She's living up there.
I'm pretty sure Johnny Hawkins from Nothing More lives here. So
Dave Mustaine was living here for a while.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's still got a house here, so I mean, he's still around.
He's not a full timer anymore, but
he's not a full timer,
But so I mean, Nashville is not just country music anymore, so, which is nice, and hasn't been for a while too. But the funny thing is the Battle of Bannockburn. I think Sabaton actually probably made the same trip as you, because I think they have a song about the Battle of Bannockburn too. But of course, with all the songs hey, hush your face. With all the songs that they wrote about war, I'm sure they have one about Bannockburn in there somewhere. But hush.
So I'm guessing, I hate to kind of go back into what we talked about in the beginning, but I'm guessing that put a hinder on anything as far as like touring as well, right? So.
Oh, dude, yeah. Look, the sad truth is it's the end of Death Dealer, as we know it. So that's just the reality. Yeah, absolutely. That's all done. So that's what we're kind of mourning, I guess, is like I said, our own pity party. But we're very sad for Ross as well, because he's got so much more to give. So yeah, it's totally shit.
Well, I think as a musician, I'm not a musician, but I think I got a lot of musician friends, and as far as like they tell me, is like, the main thing is the tour. Once you put an album out, it's the tour, and then you can't do that. Then it's kind of, it's real. Like, I don't even like talking about it myself, and I'm not even in the band. But it's.
I know, bro. Look, we've got to address it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just like you don't want to give fans false hope. Going, oh, they got a new album, they got to be coming to town. Well, it's not happening. Sorry, guys. I mean, unfortunately, it is what it is. Which is going to be the thing that we're going to push for you guys is go to their website, buy the albums, because now you got a piece of history, because it's no more. So unfortunately,
and it's fucking amazing music too. So
that too, but I'm just saying, like,
but also yes.
Now, because you're not going to be able to hear it live, so I mean, you might as well hear it on the regular somewhere.
Yeah. So how has the album been received so far? I mean, aside from the glowing reviews on our podcast. So.
Yeah, it's like, I don't want to be rude. We don't make albums for reviewers. We make them for buyers of metal.
Right.
And,
of course.
And to be fair, many of the reviewers are lovers of metal. So let me make that clear. The reviews have been great. And people really get it. They get what we're trying to do. It's I don't know, since the news, like the formal news, my eye has been off the looking at what's out there. So I did get a press statement from our press agent. Here's all the reviews, and I need to go through them. But friends that are getting copies, people are writing to us on socials and telling us what they think. That means everything. We read all that stuff. We comment on all that stuff. So I just want people to like it. Here's the thing. Your 40 minutes, your viewers' 40 minutes of their life.
Yeah.
I have to be mindful of that. I'm respectful of that.
Yeah.
All right. My job is to make that 40 minutes that you're giving me worthwhile. And that's what I want to promise you, that we cared about the time. We're in a streaming world where people listen to one song and then they take off. My job was to make an album that people are going to want to go, I want to hear this whole thing, and maybe I want to hear it again. And that's a hard thing to do, and we spent a lot of time thinking about it. We only have so much control over it, but at the end of the day, that 40 minutes I take seriously, so hopefully people will go and check it out.
Yeah. It's funny that you bring that up, because I'm sure I know the answer to this already, but I mean, you guys have been making music for a while, and I know you got a lot of irons in the fire with a lot of different projects. But do you think that bands that especially bands that are still putting out LPs, because a lot of bands that we've talked to, they're like, we're probably just going to stick with EPs for a while, because like what you said, the attention span and everything else. But how exponentially harder has it gotten to make an LP, not just to put out 10 songs or 8 songs or whatever? Because I mean, like you say, you guys had the amount of songs you recorded, you could have put on, you could have done a double album if you wanted to. But to really sit down and hammer out an LP, like you say, to make sure that the 45 minutes are going to be soaked up by everybody who listens to it, I mean, how much more cognizant do you have to be about that now, as opposed to 2012 when you just started this project? So I know you've been making music for a long time, but the importance of making sure from track 1 to track whatever, because a lot of people are talking about, there was probably a couple fillers in the middle just to get the track listing up. You can't do that anymore now, can you?
No. You can't lose people. You can't lose people. You can't be too self-indulgent. But when I say, you've just got to be you. And that sounds a little weird, but at the end of the day, there were certain sections we cut out of songs. There's a song on here called Rain of the Night, which is what the album was going to originally be called. And there were a couple of sections that I wanted to remove out of the song. And our drummer, Steve, just said, I'm playing my card on this song. You're not changing anything on the song. You're keeping it as it is, because I really, really dig it. So they're the kind of conversations. To answer your question, it is harder because and we are harder on each other, and we do listen to it scrutinizingly, and Mike LaPond was a really good example of, we'd send stuff to Mike, just analyze these demos, and he'd come back with his feedback. So it is hard, but if you care, then you put the time in. That's what the work is.
Because you actually have to kind of scrutinize the actual, not just the amount of songs, but what order they're in too, because that's important as well. It's not like just throw them on there in whatever order, it doesn't matter. No, that's an important thing now. The track listing is just as important.
Stu's over there like, fillers, man. We had to break it from 24 to 10. What do you mean fillers?
Right.
But you know what, guys? You're absolutely right. But that's only my perception. Some people, we've had the song on here, Bloodbath, right? So it's pure blast beat thrash. And we did have somebody say, man, it's like the worst song I've ever heard Death Dealer do. And I think it's one of our best. So it's only my perception. Okay. And it's our perception as a band. But I think that's the thing, is that we care enough about it as a group to question each other. While we heard all these songs, I don't think there's any filler on here. None of the other guys do. And that's all really that's important from our perspective, right? Because then I can look you in the eye and say, give me your 40 minutes. Trust me, go on the journey with us.
Yeah.
we believe this is really strong. So that's a nice thing to say. That's art, right?
Yeah.
That's why we love heavy metal. When you listen to classic albums, which I'm not comparing our stuff to, but you listen to stuff like, Point of Entry by Priest, or you listen to another perfect album to me is Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, right?
Yep.
That's an album that takes so many twists and turns with fluff and all these different kinds of songs and feels and tempos. You might find people go, I don't really like that song, but Sabbath took you on a journey, and we're trying to do that same kind of thing with every album we've done.
Yeah. Yeah. I can absolutely see that. Yeah.
So I know you got to go pretty soon, but I gotta put you on the spot for a minute and ask you. I see the lineup back there. So which one of your guitars is your favorite?
Oh man, I've got 70 back here.
Oh my Lord! Okay, yeah, Jesus.
The whole this. I've got an original year one gem here. It's kind of cool for your viewers.
Cool.
That's slick.
But it is really hard to pick it. Fave, like ESP made me some signature models a little while ago, which is like they made me a signature model with a plan for another. I didn't get the second one, so I got that behind me. But I'm a bit of a guitar whore.
I love the one you have in your hand has that handle. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a Sleeby. Gem.
That's awesome. Yeah, you don't see that much anymore.
No, you don't. No, you don't see that very often.
So, yeah. But guys, thank you very much. I've had a great talk, and thanks for handling the conversation so well. Obviously, it's a really difficult time for us, and also difficult for everyone that loves Ross. I want fans of Ross to know that his family is incredibly well connected and supportive in this time, and we're showering him with love and thoughts, and like I said, dude, he's still with us. We're not.
Oh yeah.
We ain't there yet. So
I think if there's any positive to put on it, there's two words I can give you: Jason Becker. So
that's it, baby.
Yep.
So that guy's amazing.
Yes.
Even still. So
Stu, let me ask you this one last thing before we go, because we're you've said it already. We've reached the natural conclusion with Death Dealer, but we're not at the end of your musical career, and we would absolutely love to do this again sometime. So that being said, what else is coming down the Stu Marshall pipeline, if anything, if you are at liberty?
Oh, of course, yeah. So I have an Australian band called Night Legion, which is a band of my favorite human beings that are all from really successful bands. So we go out and do a few shows a year. We got a new album in the can at the moment that we're going to release, so that's kind of cool. And then every couple of years I release a thing called Empires of Eden, which is where I write all the music, but I hire my favorite singers to come in and sing. So, at the moment I'm talking to Eric AK from Flotsam. He's done some recording for me. And I'm trying to get Messiah Mark Holland from Candlemass at the moment. I sent him some material. So there's a whole catalogue out there on the streaming services. People can hear the last album came out about a year ago. So that keeps me busy from a studio perspective. Mm-hmm. And then I'm doing a live performance at the Sydney Guitar Show in a couple of weeks. I'll be getting up there and representing a friend of mine. So, yeah, lots happening. I'll likely be working with Sean again in some other capacity. But, it's never going to slow down until something stops me. So.
Right, yeah.
And then one other thing I always try to ask is can you let everybody know where they can pick up any hard copy of the new album or older albums if there's availability on that as well? But
yeah, absolutely. So I think in the States they're about to announce major distribution for America. It's all over Europe through the Nuclear Blast website. I think Amazon has copies for America at the moment, so you can grab that. I think there's some up on eBay as well. Sean has a whole bunch of copies that he can sign. So if you come to the Death Dealer page, or you can find Sean Peck on social media. He's everywhere. Sean's got boxes of these in America, so he can get these out and scribble on them for you. Yeah.
Okay.
That's a done deal right there.
Yeah, that sounds like a winner to me.
I got autographs everywhere in here. You just can't see them, but
yeah.
But yeah, so that's one of my things. Like I said, I love just doing this, and then actually, unfortunately, there won't be a time where we can go and watch a live show. But we always try to, like, if the bands that we talk to are in town, or we always try to go and catch them, or So it's kind of I always feel like we're kind of hypocrites if we don't support the bands that we bring on to push.
That's right.
I mean? So it's kind of a hey, do as I do, man. It's like we're giving we're giving these guys a platform, and we're out here trying to help them make a living, just like we go out and try to make a living. So
that's right.
I appreciate you guys a lot. Been a great chat.
We appreciate your time, man. And like I said, I'll, give our thoughts and prayers out to Ross and his family, and all the other band members, and hopefully we'll chat up again soon about a different project, maybe. So.
Yep.
You bet. Anytime, guys. Thank you very much for your support.
Hey,
all right.
Thanks, Stu.
Thanks, Stu. Have a great Saturday.
I'll catch you, boys.
See you.
Take care.
All right, Stu Marshall, man. That's one of the guitarists for Death Dealer.
Just as busy as Max Cavalera and and Dave Lombardo.
I'm amazed by all these guys, how busy they stay. Well, the thing that kind of hits me, like, when I hear that, is like, okay, why Metallica was so dead on doing things that they did back in the 90s, with like Jason and all them, want to do other things, and no, it's all Metallica or nothing. I mean, bands have fortunately gotten away from being so damn controlling with stuff like that. So
yeah, well, and thankfully, to their credit, they're like they
regret it. Yeah,
but they've acknowledged their wrongdoing in those situations and everything, and they've matured and all that good stuff. So I mean, at least there's
and they got lucky, to catch to reel in Rob Trujillo after the fact. So I mean, it's like a lot of times it doesn't play out as well for bands to That's why you see a lot of these bands filter through certain band members all the time. And look at Skid Row right now trying to find a singer because they can't get to the table with Sebastian. And I think that's probably their best choice they could make right now, because, I mean, I don't think anybody's, diehard Skid Row fans anymore because of
Yeah, I mean they've been through it, and of course, Eric Grunwald, their last singer, he had his health concerns. So I mean, you can't fault the guy for that. I mean, it's just,
Which, if that hadn't happened, they may still be with Eric and they could still be prospering. But you got to make smart choices after the fact. You can't control what happens to you health wise. I mean, we just talked about that. So I mean,
right?
You're everything that you know and love can be taken away in a heartbeat. And you have to react in a caring and a professional way, I think, to attract the right person if you're wanting to carry on the band. But hey, my respect for this band has just went up like 1,000 just because of that. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, he's a part of this band and we're not going to do anything without him. I mean, for him to come on the show and say, hey, there's no more Death Dealer. I mean, I'm talking about a Death Dealer album right there, but this is it. Like, we're not. It's no more.
Yeah, I mean,
and I can't imagine the emotion that would go behind saying that on. And he says the first time he's talked about it. So I mean, I'm not trying to like push that as a narrative for this show to take off. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like, this is the first time he's had to talk about it. So I'm over here almost emotional, choking back tears myself. Yeah, and I'm not even in the band. You know what I mean? So I can imagine what he's going through, knowing that Ross is going through what he's going through, knowing it's the end of this project, and knowing that they had songs in the bucket for another album. I mean, so no touring, no new album. I mean, it's just when you think about it like that, it's just, oh man, it's just kind of it's almost that you got to think to yourself, is this real? You know what I mean? Is this real? Like,
oh, I'm sure I can only imagine that. I mean, like you said, I mean, just an absolute gut punch, and like every emotion and scenario went through their head, you know. So I mean, it just, you know, because I mean, even if it would have, and we're not just talking about what this band is going through because it's Ross the Boss from Manowar. I mean, it could have been,
Could be any band. I mean,
yeah, well, it could have been any band, but it could have been any member. I mean, it could have
yeah,
been,
exactly.
it could have been John Smith, and this was the first band he's ever been in, and now he
Right.
can't play anymore because he's got, ALS. So I mean, it's not any more sad just because it's Ross,
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's a heavy metal legend. It absolutely is. You talk about an indelible mark and a legacy, but it doesn't make it more sad just because it's Ross.
Well, I just think certain things hit you as a fan, and I mean, it's kind of like I don't want to compare it to death, but I mean, Dimebag dying and
Yeah.
things like that it's like those things hit you as a fan, and it hits you different, you know. Uh, and like you said, Ross has a legacy. I mean, if been around for a while, you know who Manowar is. I mean,
Yeah.
Ross was in the band, and like I said, and that his last solo project album was fucking awesome, dude. I think
Yeah.
it was one of my favorites that he did. So, to me, I think it's more heartbreaking to me knowing and listening to his progression over the last few years and thinking, man, he can't do no wrong at this point. You know what I mean? And then this happened. I think that's kind of where my heart breaks for him right there. It's just,
absolutely.
I'm like, this dude's killing it right now, and then boom, you can't
Yeah.
play guitar anymore. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So,
It's, I mean, it is cruel. I mean, how things can play out. I mean, it's one thing, it's one thing if Ross would have just gotten to a point where he's like, all right, I don't feel like my heart is in it anymore. I think I'm just gonna,
right.
If you can go out on your own terms, it's completely different. But to be robbed of something, whether it's a, musician, athlete, actor, because I mean, hell, everything that's going on with Bruce Willis right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, he can't fucking remember who he is anymore.
Well, he don't even know he's sick at this point. I mean,
Right. So yeah, exactly. So I mean, to have it just taken away from you, getting the feeling that you're done is one thing. The same thing that Dave Mustaine's got going on right now. He's like, all right, I can feel that it's the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be our last album. We're going to tour for a while, but that's going to be it. So.
But he's able to make that. He's able to make that choice, though. So.
Right, that's what I'm saying. No, but not everybody gets to make that decision, and Ross didn't get to make that decision. That's the thing that sucks the most is he doesn't have any say in it.
Well, I honestly hope that maybe they reconsider, and I'm not saying this as a selfish thing by no means, but hopefully they do something to maybe reconsider and maybe put some of that stuff out and then use that as funding for ALS research or something.
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool.
Maybe
nobody would knock him for that for sure.
Yeah,
but,
maybe part of it.
But like he said, he just at this point would rather just put it out for we'll just do for free at some point or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
The funny thing is I wouldn't have been I wouldn't have been upset if Stu would have canceled.
I wouldn't. I was actually expecting that. I ain't even gonna lie. When I seen that, I said, "Dude, we might not even be having this interview."
So
that's some emotional shit to try to go through, dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know. I didn't like really realize how severe it was or anything from the article that I read. So I couldn't really say that. Okay, well maybe he can get through a tour or something, and then it's it or something. I didn't know. Until we just talked to Stu, of course. But,
well, and that's when I when I brought it up, and I was like, I don't want to press. So I mean, he could have just said, we're not talking about that. And I've been like, that's totally fine.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I mean, props to Stu for that. I mean, a lot of respect for that because he could have said before the interview, I got an hour and don't bring that shit up. We'd have been like,
yeah, right, yeah.
We'd have been like, absolutely. So I mean,
I'll say this, man, that may be one of the most difficult interviews we've done, I think. So,
yeah.
I mean, in my opinion, I mean, that's just from my perspective. I'm just like, dude, it's just trying to think of stuff to get off the topic. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
stuff just kind of comes back around to it because it's kind of what's going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of it
It's
was.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was going to be unavoidable to talk about. Kind of like when we had Richie Cavalera on. Is like we need to not talk about. Okay, yeah, your Max Cavalera is your dad. So I mean,
Yeah. Right.
and
And then I
you
said,
don't you don't want
I don't
to
know.
you don't want to take away from the actual product itself for just this one little thing. Don't get me
Right.
wrong, ALS is not a little thing, but you get what I'm
Well,
saying.
no.
You don't
Yeah.
want the music was the focus, and
Right.
for Death Dealer, and Richie was the focus for his band and Insight. We didn't want it to be the Richie Cavalera talks about Max all day or whatever. And we didn't want, but at the same time,
I guess bringing that name up, we kind of got to send our condolences
yeah,
and stuff out to that family as well, since
yeah,
Max lost a daughter, Richie lost a sister this week. So
yeah.
that's we've lost way too many young people this week, dude. I'm just like, man, this is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's actually
ridiculous.
been it's actually been kind of a strange, start to the year, because I mean it's off to a slow start, which is what we want. I know, because I mean we're midway through February now, and I've got 8 on the list. So I mean, it's a better pace than last year, so which is good, because last year it just seemed like that's all we ever really talked
about every week. Yeah.
Anytime we didn't have an interview, we were always leading off the current events with another passing that we had to talk about. But I mean, Brad Arnold, 3 Doors Down, and I know Three Doors Down isn't metal. I'll agree with that. I'll give you that. But we're always talking about influences and stuff like that. And whatever. But Brad's the same age as I am.
Right.
And so it's always kind of weird. It's always kind of weird.
You had James Vanderbeek, from
James Vanderbeek. He passed away.
I know him from Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues, yeah. And then,
he was what, 48, I think.
48, yeah.
So I mean, that's what I'm saying. You're talking about people before 50 that passed away in both of cancer. So
yeah,
just makes you, I don't know, man. It's just
well, and then the funny thing is, you talk about Christina Cavalera passing away.
Yeah.
I don't know how old she was, but
well, I mean, she
had
40
to,
too.
Yeah, she had to. If she was in her 40s, it was her early 40s.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She's like 40, like 2 or 3 or something.
Yeah. So, and then another passing that happened before Christina's, we had Ernesto Colon from Dead Earth and formerly of Marauder passed away.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how old he is either. The cause of death and the age of those two, weren't disclosed, and that's fine. That's obviously the family's right to put that stuff out or not. But it's just been strange. A little bit of a strange start to the year as far as that goes. Thankfully, we are, kind of.
Well, they said she was.
With that,
they said that Christina had an illness, but they didn't really say what she was doing.
Yeah, so kind of like
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was like listed as a longer term illness. So who knows? But if they release that info, we'll pass it along, of course.
Right, but I mean they're real private people from what I understand with with kind of stuff like that. So it's kind of
And yeah, fair enough. I mean, who's going to argue? I mean,
yeah, she does look younger. So I mean, she probably late 30s, early 40s, maybe. I don't know, but
kind of what I'm
definitely younger than we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was trying to see if it said her age anywhere, but I don't.
I didn't see it anywhere. I was looking last night because I was adding her information to the in memoriam.
Okay.
I'm actually building it as it happens,
right
here. So now that I kind of half-assed know how to do PowerPoint, I'm kind of updating PowerPoint in real time, and I couldn't find it anywhere. So I'm not exactly sure.
I didn't think about it.
Not real sure how how old she was, but it's still, it sucks, you know, because Max and Gloria, you know, lost a child. Richie lost a sibling,
Mhm.
you know, so it stinks, you know. I mean, there's just no two ways about it, you know. So that's just one of the things that we, you know, down there. If you've been reading the scroll at the bottom, it's been a little bit of an interest. It has been a little bit of an
I mean,
interesting
it's been a
week,
rough
you
week,
know.
yes.
You know, it's been interesting, you know, everything that happened with Ross, you know, Christina Cavallera passing away. And yeah, something I posted earlier, Testament has got 6 songs already
Yeah.
finished for the next album. And the funny thing is I posted that story where they were talking about they got 6 songs done. It was later on in the day where I saw that they actually have 8.
Oh,
So
wow.
so
Okay.
they've got 6 done, and I think there's 2 others that are pretty close.
You're probably going to see an album by first of next year. Then at this
Yeah,
point.
I mean, yeah, done and shit. I mean, the caption that I put on the story that I shared, I said, "Don't threaten me with a good time. You're gonna give me a New Testament album 2 years in a row. I mean,
Right.
sign me up for that." So that's totally fine.
Yeah.
And let's not forget, it's coming across down there right now at the bottom. Eric Forrest, you know, former reveal his stage 3 prostate cancer diagnosis,
Yeah.
which sucks because yesterday was his birthday. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's not a good birthday
No,
present at all, man. That's
not a good birthday present at all to find that out. So,
I was trying to see if it said anything under. Oh, here we go.
but yeah, if you guys get a chance, you know, fans of Priest and Maiden, and you know, of course, Manowar, you know, because the one of the founding ingredients from Manowar are in Death Dealer. Give their catalog a listen. It's very, very well done stuff. Even, like I say, even their first album all the way back from 2013. You know, I listened to the catalog all the way through, I think 3 times this week. I know twice all the way through for sure, but I think it was a good at least twice, if not 3 times. So, so yeah, very, very good stuff. Yep, Wasp is going on a North American tour with KK's Priest. They're not coming around here, which I get. KK Priest, they were actually both in Nashville relatively recently on separate tours, but I guess I can kind of understand why Nashville wouldn't be on the bill this go around.
It doesn't matter. We didn't have them together.
I was about to say that doesn't make me any less unhappy about the fact that we don't get Wasp and KK's Priest back in Nashville. So that kind of sucks, but so
Interesting.
what you got?
I was just looking at this one thing. Didn't even mention Christina as a child on this one. I was like, that's interesting because I'm pretty sure that's weird.
Seems weird. And the funny thing is she was actually, you know, she wasn't just like a Cavalera, like in name only. You know, she was working with the bands and everything, and she was Soulfly's like tour manager and stuff like that. So I mean, she was, you know, she was a figure in the music industry, just like Gloria. You know, not just like, hey, I'm Max Cavalera's daughter, I'm Max Cavalera's wife. I mean, no, they're actually, you know, Gloria and Christina. You know, that you're talking about actual prominent figures, you know, in the industry. So I mean, they just weren't hanging around, you know, on Max's name. They weren't doing that.
They're all involved in it somehow. I mean, you know, Zion is, I think he's the youngest, and he's even playing with some stuff with Soulfly. So I mean,
yeah. So I mean, you know, they may have the last name, but I mean, they're, you know, not just be like, hey, I'm Max Cavalera's son, daughter, wife, whatever. You know, I mean, they're making it.
Igor and Richie.
Yeah, they're making their own name for themselves. So, you know, I mean, they're kind of forming the Cavalera metal family empire. If you want to look at it that way, that's definitely happening, and I'm all for that. That's totally fine.
It's like almost like a conspiracy or something.
But
yeah, it's yeah. But anyway, I'm just surprised like it doesn't mention any. I guess she was just more of like wanted to be more private on the back back end of things and not be kind of in the limelight. I guess, but why she's not mentioned as much. But
Yeah.
I would think that she would be younger than Richie because I mean the way that they named the kids, it was Richie was always the third one I think, second or third one. So I mean he's
I don't remember the chronology of it.
right. I mean I know he's older than her. I do know that.
Yeah.
So I guess that would kind of help kind of get because I mean I'm sure Richie's age is out there. So I mean would kind of give us a ballpark anyway.
Yeah. And I don't know how you guys out there feel about it, but Nevermore does have a new lineup, and so I'm
seen that. Yeah.
I'm interested to see what's gonna come of that, how that's gonna play out. Because I mean, we all know Jeff Loomis is one hell of a guitarist, and you don't easily replace Werrell Dane. So vocally, that new vocalist has got some big shoes to fill. So. And it also it's probably headed that way based on what I can tell, but it looks like Arch Enemy and Angela Gossow are going to be.
There's nothing. I haven't seen anything concrete yet, but that's kind of what everybody's kind of
it does
reporting on. Whether which like we've said this before, we don't like doing that because we don't have a concrete yes or no. But I mean that's kind of the word that's going around is they both kind of did some weird things with their socials and stuff like that. So it's kind of like
this is probably one of those situations where it's a little bit more of where there's smoke, there's fire. I mean, we'll see, of course, because they're already. I mean, hell, I follow Arch Enemy on their social media, and they're already talking about appearances that they're going to be making here, there, and various countries all over the world, and people are like, well, who the hell is going to sing? So I mean that's actually a very good question. So what I wonder is if and when Angela comes back, is if we're ever going to hear any of Arch Enemy's not Alyssa era stuff, because I mean she can sing it, but we know what part of the Alyssa era stuff that Angela has never sang. So it'll be interesting. I don't even hell. I'm assuming that Angela can sing clean. I have no idea if she can.
Yeah. Or if they want or two. I mean,
that's the thing. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, there's, and I shush your face.
I mean, if they're going to tour and she's going to have to sing, Alyssa's songs, then I mean, that's kind of one of the things that. And they may not even touch Alyssa's stuff. I mean, who knows? I mean, that's up to them. I mean, that's their brands.
I mean, it is up to them. But I mean, you got 4 albums worth of her stuff, and you're not going to touch any of it.
I mean, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they'll just, do that right there through the whole thing.
Exactly. Yeah. Yuguru, you want to sing for Arch Enemy? You want to?
By the way, Richie he's 40 years old. So
okay.
So I mean, she had to be younger than that. Yeah. So because of course Richie, if we know, he's a stepson originally, but kind of got adopted into the family. So so she's definitely younger than him because he was of course there kind of when Max met Gloria. So So anyway, but it's been an interesting week to say the least with celebrities and the metal world. There was so much stuff I really couldn't put everything on the ticket.
Oh, yeah.
So I mean there's stuff on there that I could have put on there, but I did.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I touched on certain things, and then certain things I'm like, oh man, what do I leave out?
Oh yeah, we're getting new Anthrax in May.
Yep, Anthrax in May.
So that's good news. Good news.
Yeah, certain this time. So
yeah, we talked about enough stuff that's not great news, but new Anthrax in May is great news.
Well, then Exodus is March, right?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So I mean, we're starting to heat up with some.
Only one way to find out. Yeah, only one way to find out. Let's see if the calendar goes that far. I think it does.
Yeah, I think it goes
I'm
out
pretty sure it does.
all year if you want, if you want to look at it that way.
Let's see. It's not the 6th. The 13th. Nope. March 20th, 2026. Exodus Goliath. So there you go.
Mm-hmm. I knew it was coming up. I was pretty sure. So
yep. So about 5 weeks from now. So not too far out.
oh man.
So yeah, Exodus in March, Anthrax in May. Got a lot of stuff coming out.
Speaking of having a lot of stuff coming, luckily I had to slow down because we started booking, and then the booking got a little wild there for a minute for shows, and for bands coming on the show. So I'm like, hold up, we got to pump the brakes for a minute, like shit.
Yeah.
So we do have numerous.
We have 3 other shows. We have 3 other interviews already booked.
Yeah. So it's heating up fast. So next week may be the last week we do a regular show for a while, unless something pops up and we book next week. But
that's true. I do have an interview request that I have out that I haven't gotten a response from yet. So who knows?
And we finally got that one nailed down, which thankfully I was kind of like, oh man, I hate telling them this, we're not going to get it.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, we got that nailed down. So hopefully, I'm looking forward to that too, because I'm kind of want to know what those guys have been up to. The past couple of years. So.
Yeah, and 2 of the next 3 guests are returning guests.
Repeats,
yeah.
So,
which is very cool. So,
and then the other guest is the album review I did the same week you did.
That's right. Yeah,
Jeff Diller. So,
right, yep. So, sure as hell did. Yeah.
So we wind up getting both those bands on the show. I don't know if we've ever done that before.
I don't think we have. I don't think we have.
Now that I think about it, that's pretty wild.
I think that's a first. Yeah. Getting both bands from the same week of album reviews. I think that's the first. Yeah.
That's crazy.
I believe so.
Well, if you haven't followed us in a while or don't know, we do have a 24/7 radio station that streams 24/7.
7, yeah.
366 or 65 days. Whatever. It just keeps going forever.
Yeah.
Great. It's at the frontrow.net/radio with a capital R in radio.
Capital R. Yep. Follow us on all of our social media platforms, our Facebook group and page, on X, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, our YouTube channel, Rumble, and for all the band interviews and our music playlists, our themes of the week, and our new metal release lists over on Spotify, and the trusty old-fashioned email address, metalheadsuniteusa@gmail.com.
Then happy Friday the 13th to everybody.
Yeah, and speaking of February 13th, before we go, I would be remiss if I didn't give my brother a shout out.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Because today is his birthday. So.
And we also give a shout out to Victor, one of our good friends.
Hell yes.
Along the way, because of the podcasting and stuff, we've kind of met Victor, and he's kind of been a big contributor to some of our stuff. So we'll give him a shout out too. So so he's our South American connection there. So
him and his sister.
Yeah, him and his sister. Yeah,
Rosemary. She actually does a lot of live streaming from down there in Peru, and Victor does a lot. Victor live streams, I think, like every concert he goes to, which is actually quite a lot. Yeah. So he has quite a bit.
So basically, they let him do that. I'm just like,
it is. I mean, it's good for us that we get to do that when we can't go. Right. Yeah, it's kind of surprising. And a couple other birthdays that we had this week. Talk about another person who just left a permanent mark on the heavy metal community. Cliff Burton would have been 64 this week. Mm-hmm. And frontman for Death Angel, Mark Osageda, I think he was 57 this week. Mm-hmm. Then we got Vince Neil, 65, and Jimmy the Rev Sullivan passed away. I can't remember when he passed away.
07?
Something like that. It's been a minute. So it's been a while, but Jimmy the Rev Sullivan's birthday was this week also. So Jeff Waters from Annihilator turned 60. Trying to think of some of the other ones just right off the top of my head. I didn't make a list of all of them.
I didn't even do any of the birthday stuff because
So
what's going on.
I think those are the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. There were some other ones I know. We posted quite a few of them over at the over on our Facebook group. So
I don't know if you know this or not, but I met that Mark Osagueda guy once.
shut up. Damn it. That still pisses me off.
I was actually trying to find you. I'm like, where'd he go? Like, what the fuck?
I was outside just standing there, just making sure it's like they'll see me eventually. And I was just like, just got separated in the rabble walking out of the venue.
Yeah, that's just unfortunate is what, what that was. So,
yeah.
I went to the bathroom and come out and guys like, hey man, Mark Osagueda's up at the bar. I'm like, oh yeah, really? So I was like, I'm slide back up in here.
Yeah, I was already outside. So
I didn't even have to like come up to him. He saw me and he's like, dude, where'd you get that shirt? I had like a tour a couple tours ago, Death Angel shirt.
Yeah, you were wearing your Humanicide shirt.
Yeah, and I said, I actually saw you guys. I was in Dallas on work and actually saw you guys at the Trees. And he's like, oh yeah, that was our headliner tour. Oh, that's cool as fuck, dude. He said, how small is it yet you're here now? And I was like, yeah, that's pretty wild, dude. Like, he was a cool dude, man. Like he's definitely the I guess like I don't want to say an icon of, but definitely a poster child of the have a good time rock musician.
Oh yeah.
So he definitely likes to have a good time. So,
oh yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I mean, live it up while you can, brother. That's
right.
I said, things change in a heartbeat. I mean, we've talked about that on the show already. So,
yep.
All right, guys. Well, as far as we know, we'll be back with you next week with the regular show. Unless something else happens, of course, follow us on our socials for that. Mostly Facebook, Instagram. You'll know there. Until then, we'll just know that we do have 3 interviews after that. So, we'll be kind of rocking and rolling after that. So I'm kind of like letting the dust settle a little bit before I start trying to reach out to other bands because I'm just like, okay. But it's kind of like one of those things, like you say, you don't want to wait too long because then the album's out for like 2 months and you're talking about some shit that's been out for 2 months already. So it's kind of, I kind of like to catch stuff fresh, as fresh as possible. So, that kind of like probably hurts us in a way with the interviews too, because, we don't plan that far out. And then we get to the point to where, okay, now we need to start looking at other bands because we're going to be doing regular shows if we don't. So,
right. Yeah.
And then by that point, there's, could be bands that respond and could be bands that don't. So it's kind of like, we sit there and then we both are reaching out and they don't hear anything. So then we're, kind of stuck doing regular shows again.
Mm-hmm.
If we could bring you interviews every week, that's what we would do because I love talking to bands and knowing. Like I said, every band's got a different situation going on. Because we may never even talk to a band that goes through what they're going through right now. I mean, that's pretty odd to have happen. So I mean, the timing could not be worse. I mean, obviously,
right? Yeah, because the announcement was just, let's see, this is Friday. I mean, the announcement was maybe Wednesday.
Oh, was it Wednesday? Was it that? I can't remember. I know it was like a couple days ago. So.
It was this week. I can't remember exactly what day it was, but I mean, here we are Friday night, and like I say, I would not have been the least bit surprised if Dustin would have said, "Hey, man, Stu wants to, if nothing else, just postpone it for a minute." But what would we have said? Fuck that guy? No, I mean, absolutely not. Jesus Christ, man. Like he said, he's known. Ross is an idol of his that he got to work with for 15 years.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, how many people could say that?
Right, exactly. So, I mean, if he would have said, "Man, not tonight, guys," we'd have been like, "Say no more, dude."
Yeah. I mean, he's understanding to know that he's going to have to talk about it. I mean, whether it's with us or somebody else. I mean, somebody's going to bring it up. I mean, it's just it's just kind of unfortunate that we had to be the ones to be the first podcast he had to talk to about. We kind of had to open that door, and not that we wanted to, but I mean that's.
Oh no, absolutely not.
We had to talk about it. I mean,
like I said, it was the absolutely the elephant in the room, and it's just
some things that we have to talk about we don't want to talk about because it's kind of like you know,
and
you
and
know,
and it and it does it because it sucks because um, we are making an introduction of a band that literally this week just saw the rug pulled out from underneath it.
right, yeah, yeah,
So
albums
I
in,
mean, hey, here's a new band we think you guys might like. It's just too bad that this is their last album.
Well, just hearing the whole story leading up to the, because we didn't know the behind
Right.
the scenes story on the album until he come on. I was like, yeah, we've been trying to put it out for 5 years. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the hell, dude? Like
Right.
that. Well, first off, if that was 5 years ago, that's fucking amazing on their part because you couldn't tell that it had been that old.
No, absolutely not.
So
I mean,
amazing on their part.
yeah.
But just to have that story in behind what's going on with them with Ross is just kind of like, man, dude, y'all have really really had like just pile up on you back to back to back with the whole scenario. You know what I mean? It was
Mhm.
the album, and then the label, and then now Ross. It's kind of like, man,
Yeah.
dude, like he's it's not, like I said, it's almost at the point of like, damn, I can't catch a break. It's like fuck.
Yeah.
But it's the way life throws curveballs every once in a while.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, it does.
and like I said, Jason Becker's been dealing with this for God 30 years, I think,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah, I mean,
A few
it's not,
decades now at this point.
yeah, it's not a is it a life threatening disease? Absolutely. Is it a life ending disease at some points? Yeah, but I mean, there's obviously ways to live with it too. So I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
So we'll see. Yeah. But
hopefully we he gets some quality of life anyway. So
yeah. So before we go, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends in the who joined us in the chat on YouTube today. Our good buddy Hank Hill stopped by, and I'm really sorry if I fuck up your screen name here, but Karaman Yijit, who joined us in the live stream on YouTube, we want to thank you for stopping by as well. We appreciate that.
I think he was saying that he'll catch it, since it's showing up on his
Yeah.
list of it being live. So
Yeah, I think so. But
appreciate it either way, whether you watch it now or later. We
that's right.
whatever.
Yeah.
So.
That's one good thing about YouTube. I mean, once it's up there,
it's up there. Yeah, so.
Yeah, it's there. So.
All right, guys. I guess we're going to close this one out, and hopefully we'll see you back here next week. And then don't forget to keep up with our socials in case anything changes. But as for now, it looks like a regular show. But like I said, those things have changed midweek. So
yes,
and that's
they have.
And I'm like, dude, I ain't even got time to promote this shit. But okay.
Yeah.
But
it has happened.
It has happened. So we're not gonna never rule it out. But we will prepare as normal for a regular podcast. And then if something else comes about,
we will about face. Yeah.
That's right. I'm sure we will. So, all right, guys. That being said, keep those horns held high. Jump in that pit.